As of September 6, 2023, Bank of Canada has chosen to pause interest rates and hold the overnight rate at 5% as inflation continues to come down. If you don't know who I am, my name's Joe Kehoe. I'm a realtor with Royal LePage Pro Alliance in Belleville, servicing your residential and commercial real estate needs across the Bay of Quinte and Prince Edward regions. Now let's get into a little detail about why Bank of Canada chose to hold rates instead of increase or decrease them at this rate announcement. The Bank of Canada has increased rates 10 times since March of 2022, where we saw the overnight policy rate as low as 0.25%, to July of 2023, where they increased the overnight rate to 5%. So what happened during these 10 increases? Well, inflation was out of control, CPI was out of control, jobs were going up, GDP was still growing. So they chose to pause because these things seem to be under control, although they're closely monitoring them. Let's go over some numbers and indicators that show that the economy is actually slowing down, which impacted BOC's decision to pause. Now, Bank of Canada still closely monitors these numbers, and if they do get out of control, we may be in store for another increase. But as it stands, the decision was made on this data to pause. GDP contracted 0.2%, CPI was at 3.3%, which although is more month over month than last year, it's down year over year. So they think they have this under control. Energy decreased 8.2%. So that is a big driver in people's everyday costs. So it's good to see energy coming down, although it's still inflated more than we are used to paying. It's less than it was last year. Now on a grocery front, groceries are still up 8.5%, which seems like a lot, but it's down from last year. So they think they have food prices a little bit more under control. Interestingly here, fresh fruit rose less than bakery items, which shows to me that people are being a little more frugal when they're grocery shopping. They're maybe not going for high ticket items like fresh fruit. They're buying more essentials like bakery items. So that creates its own issues because now bakery items are going to be in higher demand and may inflate higher. But that just shows, I think, that consumer sentiment and consumer spending, discretionary spending, is going towards more necessities than wants. On to employment and unemployment numbers. So unemployment rose for the third consecutive month. We're now at 5.5% unemployment. Employment decreased 0.2% while population grew 1.4%. So looking at those numbers myself, I'm thinking we're going to see unemployment tick even a little bit higher, which is the unfortunate reality of what needs to happen for inflation to come down. Kind of a note on the housing front here, construction employment dropped by 45,000 jobs. So to me, this looks like developers are probably putting projects on hold, which is maybe counterintuitive by Bank of Canada because they're increasing rates, but that also makes it more expensive to borrow money for these developers, which is giving less jobs, which is all working well to curb inflation, but it's not solving the housing crisis. So this is something that's interesting to monitor going forward. We'll see if the development slows, because I think definitely development will slow with the cost of borrowing. So there's a quick synopsis on the September 6th, 2023 rate announcement where Bank of Canada chose to pause interest rates. Although this is a lot of technical data and macroeconomic stuff, it does affect the real estate market. It affects the cost of borrowing, and it affects our local market, not only because of macroeconomics, but because of consumer sentiment. If people now feel a little bit more confident, they think rates aren't going up, they think it's a good time to buy, a good time to move, a good time to sell, that's going to affect the market as well, along with all these macroeconomic trends. So hopefully you found this video informative. As always, you can contact me. All my details are in the description below, and thank you for watching.